In this short clip of a video, I would like to take you through how you can be able to transpose data. So I've just opened a blank Excel workbook, and you can see all the different tabs here. You have your home page, insert, page layout, formulas, all through to the different ribbons that you can actually be able to see. So I've got already some data that I've copied from your Word document that you have on your module page. And I just want to paste that information here as it is. So you can see here, if you double click, in a way, it gives you like the full picture of what you have. So we have here on the x-axis, I'll just delete that. The first column you have is temperature, and the second column you have is the rate of oxygen consumption. If I change my mind or I want to plot this data, and instead of having the temperature in the rows and the oxygen in the rows, I want to convert this information into two columns, all that I need to do is come back here, just again select the data, right click, copy. Let's say I want to paste it here. I'll just click on that number 6, so the cell number 6, right click, and then there is this option here to select special. So I will select that, and then just if you like scroll around, you come into this window here until the bottom here and just click on paste special. Once you click on paste special, it opens this window here. And here you can see all the different special functions that you can actually apply here when you're pasting your data. But I'm interested in transposing the data. So if I just click on transpose and click on OK, you see here, now my data is no longer in the rows. Rather, we have temperature in the first column, and then we have the rate of oxygen consumption in the second column. So those are just some simple ways in which you can be able to play around and change your data so that the presentation of your data. So supposing you've actually done this, you've transposed your data and you are interested in making some simple graphs. So let's say you want to make to plot some simple scatter graph or a line graph or whatever graph that you want to plot. So what you will be doing here is, again, just come here, select your data, so your temperature, and then you have your rate of oxygen consumption. And then go into insert, you come back to this ribbon over here, and then you can see from here all the recommended charts that you can actually be able to see. And if you want to see a bit more, you can click on here and you'll see all the separate charts that Excel is recommending for you to plot based on that data that you have. You can also click on here and you see all the different charts that can be plotted. So here, I want us to start with inserting a simple scatter plot. So I click on here, and then I'll just take the first option because the first option just allows me to have a simple scatter. So when I click on here, you can see now there is a graph that I've made. I'll show you how you can actually end up making this to look a little bit more presentable in a sense. First of all, you see we are having our x-axis starting from 0 to 25, which makes it look like we've got quite a big gap here. You can actually shorten that gap or minimize it by simply clicking. When you click here and I move this around, you'll see this window comes over here. You can also right click. And then you can choose to actually have to fix your minimum here. Your minimum is from 0 to 20, maximum 25. But here you see your data starts after about between 5 and 10. So you can actually have your minimum as just 5. And if you click in the next one, it actually just automatically tries to reshape the data for you or the graph for you. So once you've done that, there are other things as well that you can do. And this includes like labeling of your graph. So if I just move this around, I'll bring you back to where we started. So if you remember when we are plotting the D, the Z, and the F values, I said to you, can go to add chart. When you add chart, click on axis titles. Horizontal axis in this case is temperature. I'm just going to write C in that case. And then you can also still do the same thing, add chart element. Here you come back to your vertical axis, which is the rate of oxygen. Consumption. Remember to add the units. So once you've done that, you can see here you have your y-axis, you have your rate of oxygen consumption, and on your x-axis you have your temperature. There are other things that you can also do. You see, like here you don't have any tick marks on your graph. You might be interested in adding that. So how do we do that? Just right click again. When you click on there, you get this opportunity at this window coming back again here on the end. So all you need to do is when you click on this graph option here, you scroll down, you come here, you'll have the tick marks. So just click on there. And then there is the major tick marks and the minor tick marks. So I'm interested in the major tick marks, and I want those major tick marks to be outside. So I just click on outside, and then that should give me here the major tick marks outside. The reason why this might not be so clear is because you still have your grid lines, and you can easily just click on there, get rid of the grid lines. So if you click again and just delete, you get rid of the grid lines, and you can see nicely on this axis we have our tick marks. We can do the same thing on the y-axis, tick marks, and then here just click it outside, and you have that in there. Sometimes if those tick marks are not really very visible, all you just need to do is again click on there and then come back right down in the middle. You click on the first fill and line, and here you can actually be able to increase the width. So here it's 0.75 points, but you can actually make it slightly bigger. I can make it, let's say 1.5. Select on this as well, make it 1.5. And our tick lines are actually gray, so you can't really see them clearly. You can move that to black instead of having them as gray. And if I do the same thing here, instead of having them as move them to black, come back here as well, so redo this and move them to black. So you see you've got a bit of more clear boundaries there. You can do the same thing as well, coming just back here onto the fill line, wherever, that you can also come here to the width and just increase your width of whatever that you're working with. You can also do the same here, change the width. It just makes it a bit more bolder, or you can see the information much better. The other thing that you can also do is you can change the font type for your graph. So instead of having it as small as you can see here, just go back into home, and then you can make this slightly bigger. You can also change the color. You have black, that means more deeper color. You can also do the same here and just make it slightly more visible and change the color as well. So once you plotted that, you might be interested in seeing how your data correlates. All you need to do is click on here, and then you come back where you have this window over here, or this information here. Just click on the graph here. Sorry, even if you just right click, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can actually add a trend line, and then you come over here and you get this information here. So automatically you can see when we clicked on add trend line, it gave us like a linear trend line. And here, if you scroll down, you can see the equation, the display of the equation, and you can display also your R² value, which just tells you the accuracy or the precision of your work. So here we have got R² of 0.953. Somebody will say that's quite a decent R², but you see some of the points are actually not really on the line of best fit. So there, some of them are really outside. So which means then linear linear trend line might not be really the best option in this case. So you can also just change this from linear and let's say try to select an exponential trend line. And here you can clearly see when we selected exponential trend line, we were able to move from 0.95 r squared to 0.99, and you can see that most of the points are actually situated along that line of best fit. So that's just to show you a bit on how you can be able to plot scatter graphs. The other thing also you can play around will be information on how to actually change this. So let's say you have a scatter and you want to move from scatter, you want to go, let's say you can change, right click, change chart type, let's say move from that and do like a column graph. Just click on OK, or you can also change it if you don't like that into, let's say, a bar chart. This is all horizontal. You can have also pie chart. So different charts that you can actually select by just simply starting from such a simple interface. So hopefully you can be able at least to see how to transport your data and also be able to plot that respectively.